This is a call to all fast food and food delivery workers out there in the country and across the world. You are heroes. We are heroes. Never let anyone else tell you differently. I've been doing food delivery for almost a month now, and it's not my first time doing food delivery, but it definitely is a unique time doing food delivery. I've stated before that I deliver pizzas in kind of a bad part of town, and there's pros and cons to that. The pros are the cons are I almost get shot on the daily. Mostly no one ever gives me tips, and a lot of people live in these apartment buildings which they fail to ever put down. Somehow, I don't know how, but somehow they failed to almost ever put down the apartment number, the building number, and a phone number that is not instantly going to voicemail or is telling me that this phone number is no longer in existence. So I spend so much time just dawdling around waiting for me to be able to get in contact with that person so that I can give them their fucking pizza. And when I do, they're angry at me because they had to wait a while or they didn't want to be bothered. So I guess it's my fault. But that's what I'm saying. A lot of us delivery workers or fast food workers have to put up with bullshit from other people. And not a lot of us really get that kind of credit that I believe we deserve. I believe is sincerely overdue to all of us out there. And that's why I'm making this video to kind of call out the heroic nature of our Herculean jobs. And I want to make this very clear when I say this. I don't mean every single person out there. Of course, there are those who just swaddle their fingers and choose not to put up with people. And for those people, I would say that you guys are a little less heroic. But then there are those, the front linemen, the ones that are really putting in the extra effort, the ones that are putting on the lip gloss before they go and kiss the customer's asshole. And I'm almost ashamed to say that I am one of those people. It's just in my nature where I'm a little bit more of a serving type, I guess you could say. And it's easy for me to want to, and I'm sure other people may agree or disagree with this or relate, but it's easy for me to want to avoid conflict at all costs. Meaning that if I have to get down on both knees and unzip their pants to make them happy, then I would do that rather than having to deal with conflict. Figuratively, not literally. Anyways, the whole point of what I'm trying to get at today is that there was something that happened to me at work today, just like there is something that happens to me at work every single day. And also a lot that I'm seeing on the internet circling around happening to other people. For example, there was a clip that I saw where this guy got angry at a Chick-fil-A worker because his cheese wasn't melted. Now, I'll say that, and this is humbly, of course, save your applause, but I will say that I did serve my time at Chick-fil-A. In fact, I went and worked there twice. Once I worked there when I was just a kid, getting paid a measly $12 an hour. And then I worked there a little bit more recently when I was in college, and that was fortunately a little bit more money. But of course, times have vastly changed from the last 10 years. But, anyways, now knowing what I know from being in Chick fil A, I know that they make everything fresh. And I know that they try their best, and that out of every single food customer service place that there is no one, there is no one who cum guzzles harder than Chick fil A workers. And I have done my fair share myself. Again, figuratively, not literally. Please do not take that out of context. But speaking on the topic, there was something that happened to me earlier today when I was out delivering pizzas that just didn't make me irritated as much as it just tickled my fancy. Really made me think about what it is I do and what kind of service I provide. So I went to deliver a pizza, and again, it was one of those situations where they didn't have an active phone number, or they didn't have the apartment building or unit number listed. So I had to figure out my way to find them. Eventually, I do because I call the store again and they give me their actual number, whatever. Eventually, I find them and I open the door. Well, I knock on the door. And this is another thing that a lot of them do. I knock on the door probably 7 times, maybe 8 times. And I wait it's a good 20, 30 seconds in between knocking. And I guess everyone is either deaf or I and just have a false perception of how loud I'm knocking. Because I am pretty sure that you would be able to hear my knocking from the unit over. But again, who knows? Anyways, eventually he opens the door and I give him the pizza. Well, before I do, I say, it's $30. I think it was like 31.90 or something. And he's like, all right, hands me $100 bill. I take it and I realize, oh, I can't take $100 bill. Why? Because as drivers, we only get like $15 in a little cash bank that they give us, and that we can use as change. And our store typically doesn't accept, even 50s, much less $100 bills. So I told him, I was like, hey, I can't accept this. Do you have anything smaller? He's like, no, I don't have anything smaller. Of course, as things go, it's not like, no, I don't have anything smaller. It's more like, no, I don't have anything smaller. It's more accusatory. That's just kind of how these things go. It's always my fault, is what I'm saying. It's always our fault. You know, Fast food workers stand up. Anyways, um, so I tell him let me call the store. I'll see what I can do. I call the store, and my manager ends up being like, hand the phone to this guy. I'll talk to him. Which I did not feel comfortable handing my phone to this guy, because this guy in these neighborhoods, it wasn't unlikely that he would just take my phone. Um. Anyways, he didn't take my phone, but he sat there and he talked to my manager, and my manager pretty much told him, "Hey, we can't take this. If you have a card, or if you have, any smaller bills, then we can make this happen. Otherwise, we'll have to take the pizzas back to the store." He proceeds to obviously get a little irritated, as people always do. Says, they didn't state that when I was doing the order. They didn't state that you can't take $100 bills. And you know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Sure, maybe it doesn't state that, and then maybe it's not like totally his fault. Maybe, whatever, right? But at the same time, like, I don't know how you only have $100 bill and nothing else. Because I talked to him and he's like, maybe you can use a card. And he's like, well, I don't have enough on the card. Again, it's more accusatory. It's like, I don't have enough on the card. Like it's my fault, because obviously of course I went into his bank account and I drained his card earlier that day, which makes sense to why he doesn't have money in that card and why it would be my fault. So I apologize for that. Um, that's not true, by the way, just in case. I don't know if I can get in trouble for that. That's not true. Anyways, he, goes on this rant, blah, 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 blah. You can't, I need the pizza or whatever. He ends up getting a son. And his son's like 10, 12 years old or whatever. He's like, you got any money? And I'm like, I did. Come on, dude. But whatever. His son. And his son gives him like $20, which I don't know how his son had $20. Whatever. So he scrapes together like $30. And it's like $31.90. So he's just under. And I'm so like done, dude. I'm so done at this point. So I'm just like, whatever, dude. I'll spot you I'll spot you the $1.90, which is crazy. And I know what a lot of people are gonna say, especially those who have been in the position that I've been in. What the hell are you doing? I mean, when we think about this realistically, I'm the one who's supposed to be walking away from this encounter with a tip. And instead, it's like I'm tipping him for not having enough money. So, I don't know. Like, it's just, I guess my generosity gets the best of me sometimes, but he's like, he doesn't even say thank you. For some reason, which is, I guess I also, some people might relate with this, but I say thank you to him, which I don't know. Thank you for taking my money and not having enough money and wasting my time here. I appreciate that. Really appreciate you. You're a great guy, obviously great father. Sorry. Anyways, uh, yeah, I get back to the store and I end up having to, pay $1.90 out of my own account. Which, well, I thought I did, and then when I actually got cashed out at the end of the night, they're like, you did a good thing. But yeah, I did. I did do a good thing. Yeah, I'll take credit for it. I did do a good thing. And there's a lot of people that do good things out there. But there's a saying that I stick to that I say a lot. Bad things happen to good people. And good things happen to bad people. So it's hard to justify doing good things a lot of the time. Now, I try not to let that stop me. But I also try not to let that surprise me when I'm proven to be true. So, I was a little concerned that, maybe I'll do a good thing and the guy would probably, still take my phone or shit me or something. But it didn't happen. And so I was happy enough about that. But then at the end of the day, long story short, did that, they ended up just having the store cover the $1.90, so it didn't come out of my pocket, which was great. And then, we moved on. But this is just a situation, I guess, that goes on that maybe I'm sure that in some ways other people have dealt with, where their kindness gets the better of them, or they're stuck in this situation and the customer just doesn't have it. And it's weird, especially when you're a delivery, like any sort of food delivery service. It's so weird because it's like, hey, you're short. I can't. Well, it's not even that you're short. It's like I don't have the means by which, unless you want to give me an awfully big tip, which I'm not opposed to. But again, I didn't come out with that. I came out with negative tip in this situation. But unless you want to give me an awfully big tip, I do not have the means in order to sell this pizza to you or sell whatever to you, because you are walking around with only giant bills. So I don't know. Maybe this guy is just like that. I don't know. He just walks around with giant bills because he wants the money spread them, but he only had $100 bill. So maybe he was gonna like money spread and like kind of hide the $1 bills so it looked like you could just see the one. Maybe they were $100 bills, maybe they're $1 bills. I don't know what he was doing. Anyways, I digress. At the end of the day, yeah, I'm going to call myself out for doing something heroic in this situation. And I want to also take this time to share this story and this approval of myself that I'm giving to me, and to take this awfully big crown that has just been placed on my head, and I want to take it off, and I want to break it into tiny little pieces. And I want to give a little piece to every single one of those fast food and those delivery driver workers out there and tell you that you deserve it. You deserve it, and I'm proud of you. You're the real heroes of this society. And don't let anyone ever tell you differently. So, yeah, I just felt like I wanted to say something about that real quick because it's just something that happened in my day. And, you know, uh, made me think about life and, purpose, existential, not even gonna try to say it actually, but, existence, all of that. Existential. All right, I'm done. But yeah, anyways, that's it. Thanks.